Hey guys, we are very excited to get a new cycle started. The last cycle showed us a few things that we want to start working on this time. So we are going to continue on with 1 day a week putting some snatch work in. So I know a lot of you guys, this is not your favorite movement, but we're going to try to break it down into a little bit simpler bits this time so that we can start putting together what will eventually become the whole movement. Okay, so we have 4-week cycle now, at least once a week, and this time we're gonna mix it up and it's gonna come on different days of the week, so it won't be the same day every single week. Each time you're gonna do a combination of a power snatch plus at least 1 or 2 overhead squats. For week 1, we're gonna do a power snatch, this is always from the floor, followed by 1 overhead squat every minute on the minute for 12 minutes. The second week, we're doing the same number of repetition, or the same number of minutes of EMOM. So it is still a 12-minute EMOM. We're still doing 1 power snatch, but this time we're immediately following that by 2 overhead squats. And then to get you moving a little bit faster and trying to focus a little bit more on getting reps in, the third week we're going to do 12 sets, but this time it's a set every 45 seconds. 1 power snatch plus 1 overhead squat. Week 4, it is again 12 sets of every 1 set every 45 seconds, but it is 1 power snatch followed by 2 overhead squat. So we've got we've got 4 points of emphasis I really want you guys to think about this cycle. The first point of emphasis is the same one that we will always have whenever you're coming from the floor. It's emphasizing good position when you take the bar from the floor to your knee. You're gonna keep that same back angle. Your hips and shoulders move together. So as long as we're coming from the floor, that is always gonna be the first part of the focus. The second focus, this is something we noticed you guys really struggled with when we were doing snatches on the last cycle. We're going to try to make contact with your hips without jumping forward. Those 2 things are very, very important when you're trying to put together the entire movement. It's incredibly common to make contact with your hips by driving your hips too far forward. That leads to you jumping forward. Instead, as the bar is passing your knees, your lats are activating, you're pulling the bar backwards so that as you fully extend your hips, you make contact. So that's your second point of emphasis. Make contact with the hips without jumping forward. Your third point of emphasis is your landing position. Some of us tend to land very stiff-legged, some of us land very wide with our feet, some of us have a hard time driving your hips backwards. We want all 3 of those things when you land. Your feet should be in the same position as you would normally squat. Your knees are bent, soft, athletic position. And finally, your hips are driven backwards so you're like you're going down into a squat position. You don't want your knees to come forward and your hips straight down. That'll lead to you landing on your toes, put extra pressure on your lower back. The last point of emphasis that we're going to have is the position at the bottom of your overhead squat. A lot of us struggle with that. A good overhead squat requires core strength, shoulder mobility, ankle mobility, and eventually shoulder stability. So all of those things are really, really important. The reason we're not making you do it in a full squat snatch is we want to give you a little bit more time to work on those positions. Every single week, you do your power snatch plus either 1 or 2 overhead squats. Focus on those overhead squats and getting right down to your bottom position as good as you possibly can. Drive your knees out, chest high. All right, guys, we've got 4 weeks to get better at this. I promise this will translate to your overall squat snatch as well. We'll get lots of reps into practice. Have fun.